This is now our system in action. You see it identified the defects on the board, and here we have the zoom of each defect. So hi, welcome to this new video. I'm Sergio. Now we're going to see how to build an autonomous vision inspection system that is very accurate. Also, we're going to see how to learn and work with limited amount of data, and it is a very common problem that many developers have when you start to build a new project for automation, for vision inspection. You don't have much data, so we'll see how to solve this problem. And this is ideal for manufacturing in general, for any vision inspection system, but specifically we're going to see some samples about electronics. So if that's your goal, everything is in this video. In this video also we will see how to build the full vision inspection pipeline using Python step by step. We'll use some real use cases. We're going to use printed circuit board image samples to show you how you can build a system to identify the defects. And also by the end of this video we will talk about on how to avoid the most common mistakes, because there are a few mistakes that many developers do that will guarantee that your project will not succeed. For this project we're going to use printed circuit boards like this one, where we're going to identify 6 types of defects. We'll get more into that later. The material that I'm using is taken from this public dataset and also public research from Weibo, Wang and Peng Wei. I'm going to leave all the link for the resources either in the description or in the blog post. So if you want to know more about the technical aspect of this for research purposes, all the links will be down below in the description. If you want to see the practical aspects, we're going to do everything in this video. Let's start with the setup, which is the main component, the first component of building any vision inspection system. And we have different types of setups based on what we want to inspect. We have setups where we have like a conveyor belts where products are moving and we want to take a picture and make the analysis of that. Or we have like more static setup like this one, where we have a place where we manually put the board and where we want to perform the vision inspection. If you want to see more material and info about moving a conveyor belt, there is some other video on my YouTube channel, so check for that, for vision inspection on products moving on a conveyor belt. If you want a more accurate inspection like this one, then stay tuned in this video. There are 2 main components on such setup. One is the lighting, which must be essential, must be not too strong to create reflection, and also it must be as much as possible equal in the entire board. So for this example, we have like 2 ring lights right here that are part of this setup. And in addition to the lighting, they use an industrial camera. This is an example of an industrial camera that can be used for that purpose. What is important about the industrial camera? It must be very high resolution, so it can be like the one used in this project, 16 megapixels, because you need to have a very high resolution when you need to detect very small defects. And second, you need to have a lens that is non-distortion lens, because normally lenses have distortion and they will change a bit how the product looks like, especially if it's some very small defects. You don't want any distortion, so industrial camera resolution and no distortion lens. After we have the setup, the first step that we have to do is to do the data collection. So we need to collect as many defect and non-defect samples as possible. So with the camera that we have, the industrial camera no distortion, we need to take the pictures and collect as many samples. We need to adjust the dataset size based on the complexity. So I recommend to start with hundreds of samples, but this might require more if the defects are very small to identify and it's very complex to identify them. So of course, the more the better, but understand that not always it's possible to have many of them. And also make sure that you include variation in position, orientation and background, because we need to add diversity if diversity is part of the project. So if we have different type of the boards, if the boards are not always placed in the same position, make sure that they respect the real world scenario that's going to happen. So let's take the picture as it is without trying to perfect them only for the dataset. So this needs to be as real as possible. Let me show you some examples. The dataset that we're going to use contains around 700 different images of the boards, and we have these at the beginning are very similar, but we have like different type of boards. So if I open this one, for example, then we have this other board which is different, and then we have another type of board with more components, and so on. And here this example also. Later, even if here there is not much rotation or anything like that, later we will see why we don't have it and how we can simulate all the different scenarios. So make sure you have the data set like we have right here. When we have all the data, then we proceed with the defects annotation, and now we get to the real problem. We're now going to see the defects and how to use them to create our own model. But before proceeding, I want to let you know that all the sources that we will be using in this video to build this project will be inside the AI Vision Academy. This is a full computer vision program where you have access to different courses, and also you have access to the course to build visual inspection systems. In addition to this, there is a community where you can interact with different members. The community is growing. We have like many developers, freelancers, doctors, and many different professions that are building AI vision solutions. We also have monthly Q&A calls, and you can have direct access to me in this community. All the links and information will be below in the description. And now let's get back to our project. We have 6 different types of defects in our project. We have missing holes, mouse bite, open circuits, short circuits, spurious coupler. Let's see them. Let's start with the missing holes. These are the missing hole defects that we have in the different board. In this one we have 1, 2, 3. Then we have the mouse bite. This one is very hard to recognize, so let me zoom the image. And this is why we need a visual inspection system, autonomous visual AI inspection system, because if you do this manually, it's very complex to identify such defects. This is, for example, one mouse bite defect that we can have in this board. We also have another one right here. Then we have the open, so when the circuit is open like this one, we have 2 examples right here like this. Short, the short defect is when there is some connection that shouldn't be there. For example, this one, this should not be here, so this is a defect. We have one other here, for example, and one here. Then we have spur defects like this one. You see when there is, let's say, some leaking from the circuit. Leaking is probably not the right term, but I don't know what other words to use. You see this is not so clean. There is some imperfection in the circuits. And finally, the 6th one, we have spurious coupler, which is like the extra copper that shouldn't be there. That is just in the middle of nowhere without any connection. These are defects. So the circuit that is not connected anywhere. And here we have a 3rd one. So to properly do this, we need to take our samples and perform the annotation. There are many tools that can perform the annotation online. I'm using an open source tool which is makesense.ai. I recommend to use this one. There are paid tools that can have like some automation and some improvement and speeding up the detection process, like RoboFlow and so on. With this one, what's the annotation process? It's a very simple process where we need to annotate, so draw bounding boxes around the defects so that we can teach to the deep learning model what a defect is. In this case, this is the missing hole defect. So we select the label, it's the missing hole, and then we look for another missing hole. We draw here the bounding box. We find another one, we draw the bounding box, and we do this for all the images that we have. So in this case, I have 693 images. I have to do that for all of them, and we do this for all the type of defects. In this case, you see that here I have the mouse bite right here. So every defect that we have in this board, it's already annotated with bounding boxes. We have here the spur, and everything is annotated. This is a process that might take some time, many hours, depending on the number of samples. And make sure that you do this properly, because if you don't do the annotation properly, then you're going to get a very poor performance. If you don't have time for this, it is something that you can delegate for a very low amount of money. Then 4th, when you have everything annotated, we go to data augmentation. This is not essential, but it's recommended. Data augmentation is used to increase the dataset diversity without collecting new images. You can do this, create some Python script that can do the augmentation, or we can use some more advanced tools for image annotation. I'm using RoboFlow, but you can find many advanced tools that can do augmentation. And the augmentation works like this. So you take something, and the boards for example, we have the board, it's flip horizontal and vertical. This is going to increase the amount of board that we have because it's simulating like if we had new boards. So we apply many different type of augmentation for this that can increase the data set. We have the flip, we have the rotation, we have the crop, so the image will be cropped in different points. We can apply this rotation that I didn't put here. So even if in the dataset we have very simple images, when we add the rotation, this will make the project work also in real world scenarios where we don't have everything perfect, but it's rotated. We have that sample and the model can understand because everything was generated even if we didn't have it. Everything is generated by our software for data augmentation. And now let's go to the fifth step. With the training step, we pass all these annotated images into a model so that it can detect our custom defects. To make the training process very simple, I created this custom notebook, which is accessible inside the iVision Academy, link below in the description. And in a few steps, we can have our model. So we select the training type, in this case is object detection. So we go with detection. We create our project, or we select our projects if we have a few projects. So we have PCB inspection right here. Model settings. So here is our dataset path. So we put the images in this one and then we can load our dataset. As you see in this folder, PCB inspection dataset, I put the images with the annotation file. This is a text file which is generated by the annotation tool. All of them just into a folder, as simple as that. And our notebook is loading everything. So we have 10,000 images. Why? Because I made a lot of augmentation. I downloaded the augmented dataset of that. That's why from around 700 images, we go to so many images. We have rotation, flipping, vertical, horizontally, and so on. And with all these images, then we can proceed with the training. So what we have to do is to go on the last cell and we click and run the training. And finally, we write our program for defect detection with Python. So let's do that. I'm going to do that very fast. Let's import CV2. So first we need to load the image for the defect. So we need to load image right here, cv2.imread. Let's put an image where we have the defect so that we can choose the samples. So I have a folder where I put a few samples. So let's use, for example, mouse bite. We test this one and later we can change the image. Let's make sure that we're loading the image correctly. So display the image, cv2.imShow image and cv2.wait key. Let's run this. Okay, we're loading the image correctly. What do we have to do now? Now, very simply, we need to import our object detection model. So from engine.object detection, we're going to import object detection. This, by the way, if you ask, it's a simple custom implementation that I made and it's available in the Academy. And we're going to use the model that we've created. So we load the model equals object detection, and then the model path. In models, I put the file best.pt, so we need to select that one. Models best.pt, and that's it. Let's call this OD for object detection. And now, where do we want to perform object detection? On the image. So first, let's load the model. Second, load the image. And then third, we want to perform the detection. So we're going to do OD.detect. What do we want to detect? We want to detect the image. Image size will be 640. This is by default. Confidence, let's say 0.25, and let's say device 0 because I want to use the graphic card to process this. Otherwise, I could use, for example, CPU and so on. What are we going to get? In exchange of these, we're going to get bounding boxes, class IDs, and scores. And let's now draw everything. So I'm going to let the copilot write this one because it's very simple stuff where we take the bounding boxes and so on. I have also lessons where I go into each line of the code. I don't want now to take the time for this. Okay, let's run now this one to identify the mouse bite defect and let's see how it performs. We don't see anything at the moment. So it didn't identify any defect. Why? Because we're using a very big image and we're looking for very small defects. So one thing that we could do here is we can increase the image size that the YOLO model processes. By default, it uses image size of 640 pixels. And we can double this and say 1280 so that it processes a bigger image and it can identify better smaller objects. And it can identify pretty well the 3 different mouse bytes that we have on this board. Let's try with other defects that I can give you some idea on how we can improve also graphically this solution. So let's try, for example, the missing hole. And you see we have the bounding boxes around the missing holes. Now, to zoom this and to make sure that we identify the defect correctly, because it's not very well visible, what we can do, we can take this square that it's detecting and we can extract and zoom them so that we know that we are detecting correctly the defects. Let's do that very quickly. Here we are getting the detected bounding boxes, our detected defects. What we do is we extract the defect region and we can zoom it on a separate window. So I'm giving the instruction now to the copilot. So this is the defect region extracted, and now we will have a different window show the defect region. Let's resize the defect region at least 5 times. So we don't give any specific size. Instead, we say 5 times of the width and 5 times of the height, and let's run it. This is now our system in action. You see it identify the defects on the board, and here we have the zoom of each defect so that we can properly check if the defects were identified correctly. We can save these images if we want. We can use a database. There is so much that we can do to insert this into a full usable software. Let's check the same with the mouse bytes and other defects that were harder to identify so that we have the zoom on them. And here we have the same for the mouse byte. You can see that the defect is very well visible when we zoom on that. So if you build a software that needs to be used in production, you can build a specific user interface that when identifying the defects, it can put them with zoom so that the operator can see if you want to double check that everything can be done like this. I hope that you got a lot of valuable information from this video about building these or similar projects. Before concluding this, let's talk about the common mistakes. And I see this over and over because I have a community with many developers that work on that, but also from my comments on YouTube videos and so on. Skipping the proper data collection, this is one of the most common. Try to build the code right away to make the system if you don't have the right data. So you have a complex code and software, but it doesn't work because, and you cannot even test it because you don't have the right data or the right annotation. And it's connected to this also making poor annotation, so make like bounding boxes very fast without working on the accuracy of them. Accuracy is very important when you do the annotation because it's the core of your program, and if you don't make good annotation, there is no way that you can get a precise software. This is connected with point 2, overcomplicating the solutions in the most possible and most complex ways. As I show you, like the base of such software is very, very simple. Follow this, don't overcomplicate it too much. Even if you think it's necessary, later it might give you more problems. When you overcomplicate, you're also ignoring real-time system constraints. You might put more code, more complex models that later will not work either in real time because it's too complex, or the constraint of the device that you need to use for this system. And these, of course, are just some ideas. I gave you a big overview about this project. I'm open to discuss about this. Please let me know in the comments if you have any question about this project or if you want me to bring similar projects. This is all for this video. See you in the next one.